Dragons TV, this is your post-match analysis video for last night's unbelievable 3-0 win against Watford at the Den. The Hornets blown away by a 25-minute Tom Bradshaw hat-trick. That really is as good as it gets. As always, let's start by taking a look at the 11 that the gaffer picked to get the job done. Okay, so 2 changes were made from the team that have been unbeaten in the last 3 and won the previous 2. Murray Wallace forced out the game due to injury. Scott Malone come in to replace him and kept Naby Sarr very, very quiet and got 2 assists in the process. And the other change was up top on the left wing, as I did suspect and mention in the preview show. Mason Bennett come in for Tyler Bury. So listen, we've all been asking for next level. We've all been asking for more effort, more attack, more chances created, and we got all that and more, all rolled into 30 minutes last night. I'll start with saying, my mate said to me, I said to you before, after the Bristol City game, that was unbelievable performance, that. And I said, no, it wasn't. It wasn't unbelievable. It was a good performance and a great result, especially reflected on Bristol City went to our next opponents on Saturday, which is West Brom in midweek, and turned them over 2-0. But it wasn't an unbelievable performance, okay? It was a professional performance and a very good result. And I said to you, no, an unbelievable performance is, 4-5-0 and, for example, a Mo Salah 6-minute hat-trick at Ibrox. Tom Bradshaw, well, I think he does watch the show. He must have watched that show and took some tips because, and I know I always say back the Bradshaw, feed the Bradshaw. I do love my little innuendos and sayings, but even I wasn't expecting it to that level. He gets in the right positions. The Rotherham game was his first one back for a while. And he missed a couple. They were only half chances. And the more you play him, once he gets one, he works on confidence. We've seen it before with him under Neil Harris, scoring something like 7 in 8 games. And now he's got 4 in his last 2. A brilliant hat-trick, run on adrenaline, confidence and desire. And of course, an eye for goal and good positioning. And it was over before it even really began. The question I've got is, and this isn't a criticism at all of Gary Rowett, I would genuinely like to ask the question. I know I'm not going to be able to, and they won't ask him on the club's fan TV, or maybe they have, I don't know. I don't always watch it. But I was doing it on Sky apparently last night. They was looking at our stats from when we played 5 at the back to when we now play 4 at the back in our last 4 games, 10 points from 12. And apparently the stats were a million times better. I would love to ask Rowett, why? Why is it taking you so long to do what everyone said you should be doing? I said that to my mate this morning, and his counter-argument was, and it is true, he said that, look, it worked last season. We finished 8th or 9th and then 11th the season before, or vice versa. And some good results away from home. But I think, and I've heard people say it as well on socials and everywhere else, if we'd have started the season when it's 4 at the back, we'd probably be fucking top of the league. We're not miles off it now. But look, he has changed it. That's a really good thing. And also, a thing I like to pick up on is, and Kenny did as well in the podcast earlier in the week. That is also out, by the way, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as being able to watch back on YouTube. He said Rowett does things at times when he's under pressure. He changes it, gets a couple of results, and then changes it back. And last night, especially with Watford's pace and alleged quality, that with their wingers, we might find it hard with 4 at the back, and we might revert back to a 5 at the back. And he may, go back into his shell. And we've seen it a million times before with, Fulham coming to the Den, Watford, the previous Watford teams coming to the Den, and Norwich coming to the Den, Bournemouth come to the Den, spanked us 4-1, didn't they? Not a million years ago. I was worried that he would sit, even if 4 at the back he would sit. And he didn't do that. He finally took the shackles off. Well, he took the shackles off. Didn't start him, but he took the shackles off and let the players play. And we went for Watford. We went for the jugular. And as I said, it was fucking game over within half an hour. Brilliant start to the game. A bad header from the defender. It doesn't hit Bradshaw. I was going to say hit Bradshaw. It's a brilliant body movement from Bradshaw that allows it to hit him in the chest, or I think it was on the head, and take it in the direction of where he wanted to. Opens up his body. I originally in real time said for his left footed. Opens up his body, fires it back across the keeper. It's a fantastic finish from Bradshaw, and that goal at Bristol City would have set that up because he was hungry for more. And as I said, now he's off and running. Long may he reign. But I've got to be honest with you, from an ex-goalkeeper's perspective, the goalkeeper's miles out of position. Maybe that's the quick kick and the mistake from his defender, yes. He's so far towards his front post that Bradshaw, he makes it it's not easy. He doesn't make it easy for Bradshaw. He's still got a lot to do, and it's a great finish, but he gives him a lot more to aim at. and Bradshaw sees that gap, fires it across him, 1-0. After that, I think we nearly score again. Jake Cooper gets a header on it, keeper flips it over. What you usually get at the Den is if we start well, the crowd are up for it. And by the way, I've got to say, the crowd was horrendous last night. I'm sure you'll all be there Saturday. I understand it was midweek, 8 o'clock and on Sky, but it was terrible, our crowd last night. Watford's was good for about 20 minutes, and then they all started fucking backdooring it, booing their side. They're not an happy fan base. You know, as I said before, we need to take a little bit of stock and reflection at times. But as I was saying, yeah, look, the start of the game, as Millwall fans, we get, if we are on the front foot, we have that sort of 5-10-ish minutes, and then when we realise we can't break teams down, the levels drop on the pitch, and then in the stands it just goes, and you can hear people having a chat about what they've been up to this week, and no one's, you know, at times not really watching the game, doing this, doing that, checking their fucking bets on their phone, and that happens quite regularly if we don't take advantage of an early good start. But last night, those levels did not drop until about 40 minutes. We was intense for 40 minutes. We was everything and more you could ever want a football team to be. We was actually too good, and I will now defend the manager and the players. Don't expect that often, because that is literally as good as it gets, and I hope it is that good against West Brom, and I could be proven wrong. But if we draw against West Brom, you know, then don't be fucking everyone having a meltdown over it, because they can't perform to that level across the board, across the pitch, 1 to 11, constantly in every game. That was unbelievable last night. Best performance I've seen in the first 45, and the second half was good as well. I'm going to tell you why for different reasons in a minute. Under Rowett, really good, one of the best I've seen in the Den in a long, long time. Don't forget now, we've seen good performances at the Den in recent years, but we was in League One for some of that, and we weren't playing a team that had just come down from the Premier League as well. But it really was Tom Bradshaw's night last night. The second goal comes, and with Long and with Malone now coming back into the side, we have gone a lot more direct. But I don't feel it's a long ball. I think it's quite strategic. I think it's quite planned. We're playing to our strengths now, which is good. I would rather see that than us pass the ball around the back four 37 times and then Murray Wallace kick out of play or Jake Cooper kick it out of play. By the way, the centre-half's absolutely unbelievable as well last night, and that is what it should be. I did say that in my preview as well. With those two, the stalwarts of the club, some of Neil Harris's best work there, £400,000 we paid for the pair of them. Of course, we got Hutchinson for free and paid 400 grand for Coops from Reading. They've been at the backbone of our defence now and skippering the club for around 6-7 years. So brilliant business from Harris. But look, getting back to the game, as I said, we've got a lot more direct, but I haven't got a problem with it. It's creating mayhem in other teams' penalty areas. It's actually organised mayhem, if you like, because the second goal, as you see, brilliant four-man move. We know what we're aiming for and the areas we're looking to get into. So it's not just a hopeful long ball up pitch. It's Scott Malone comes across, right-hand side on the halfway. Lovely little pitching wedge up. Jake Cooper, gravity and physics or whatever it is, but he's 6'7", he can't be beaten in the air. He gets a flick on to the back post. Mason Bennett cuts it back, and Bradshaw does what Bradshaw does, gets in the right positions. And if you put them balls there, he will finish them. And we're 2-0 up. Mason Bennett, by the way, a million times, and no disrespect to Tyler Bury, he's young and he's done really well for us, and he's got to a level at the club that I didn't think he would. But Mason Bennett is a million times better, and we do know that. But the only problem is Mason Bennett could start the next game and get injured inside 4 minutes. So it is good to have those two very similar types of players. Bennett definitely a better quality of player, but Bury has got by far the better fit. I think I'm having an operation in 10 days. I think I've got a better fitness than Mason Bennett. But look, it's a shame that we say that, because I want to give credit to Benno. He actually put a post out on Instagram, and I was going to like it, but I felt quite hypocritical if I did, because I've given him a little bit of criticism, or have I just said it how it is with his injuries, you know? It's such a shame he can't shake that off. And if he could do something, you know, Ryan Giggs went into yoga into his 40s, and it's a bit rich coming from me talking about health and fitness, but I'm not a professional athlete. If Mason Bennett, I don't know, can change his fucking ways in some way. I'm sure he's doing everything he can, but just try something different to keep injury free, because he is a real talent. He really, really is. And although he looks about 84, I think he's only about 24. So, look, 2-0 up. Tom Bradshaw second. The third, I'm commentating last night on the live stream. Thanks for tuning in from all over the world once again. We passed 18,800 subscribers last night, so we're nearly at 19k. If you haven't already, don't be shy to subscribe. I've lost that little graphic somewhere off my computer. I'll refine it, don't worry. But the third goal is a carbon copy of the second. It's same place, same taker, pitching wedge again, Scott Malone bump. Cooper again wins the header. This time it falls central, and it was there was a few players sort of in the way. What was good for us last night is goals are usually scored at the Cold Blow Lane end. All 3 goals last night were up the end where we were, but on this occasion my view was a little bit distorted. Lots of bodies in the box. I thought Billy Mitchell originally got a touch on it, which he didn't. It was Bradshaw, takes it away from 2 players. If I'm a Watford fan / player, I would be asking questions how he was allowed so much time and space in the box to do what he wanted, get in the right position. He's on the ball for about 2-3 seconds there, and then he fires it. Unfortunately, again, and I don't want to take anything away from Bradshaw because I backed him and I backed him and I backed him 3 times. That wasn't. He replayed it last night by scoring 3 goals. The goalkeeper's got to be saving that all day long. It's gone where he was standing. He's dived out of the way. Maybe he was unsighted, but he's full-blown dive to his right for absolutely no reason. You know, it wasn't a penalty. There was bodies in the way. Should have just stood up. And he's dived and it's gone in where his feet were. But listen, we ain't fucking complaining. 3-0. 25-minute hat-trick. We're 3-0 up after 30 minutes. And we've absolutely blown Watford away. They were a complete fucking mess after that. To the point their fans were booing them. And then I was olaying them, taking the piss out of them during points when they managed to string 2-3 passes together. But they were absolutely rocked. And people will say Watford was shit. I saw a mate of mine, Gabriel Sutton. He's a really good... is he a journalist or is he a correspondent? I don't know what he is. But he's on Twitter and he knows his football and he discusses all divisions and he said that's the worst Watford team he's seen in a decade. Of course, the world was watching on Sky Sports. Look, I'm not going to say that. They've obviously got problems at the club. They're shouting you're going to get sacked in them all at Slaven Bilic. He's only been there fucking, 7.5 minutes? So he ain't been there long. I just think we absolutely blew them away and blew their minds and their heads. And their heads as players were absolutely gone. So I'm taking nothing away from our boys. Moving into the second half, I will take that second half all day long, every day of the week, because we came out, we didn't hardly create anything, but it didn't matter. We sat in our shape. We still ventured out when they got the ball, but we wasn't as high with the press, as intense. When they got the ball, then we pressed them. In the first half, when it was 0-0, we was pressing them before they got the ball. But we didn't need to after that. Okay, get the ball. Now you've got it. Now we'll send one out and we'll press. And our shape was fucking fantastic in the second half. A really, really solid performance. There's some boys that sit in front of me. They know they are. I won't name any names. They're good boys. Everyone in and around me, of course, in the lower bit is near to the away end. And usually you get them and they're fucking you what coming fucking out there? You fucking foam coming out their mouth, down the front. Last night, one of the boys, he's just standing there. I've never seen him so happy. Just a big smile on his face, waving like when you're a kid and you go to Disneyland, or if you haven't been to Disneyland, I don't know, somewhere and you see like Thomas the Tank Engine or Mickey Mouse, and you're a kid and you can't, it's not actually them, but you think it is, and you're like, that's exactly what he was doing last time. Never seen the man so happy, and I'm happy for you, mate. You know you are. But look, after that, very, very little from Watford. They're fucking crossfield balls. It just, every time a move broke down for them or they misplaced a pass or a shot went into the upper tier of the North Stand, you just saw another 6 or 7 leave from their end. And it really, really dragged out the Watford pain, which was fantastic to see from our end. They had a couple of chances late on. Again, good defending. Malone, as well as assisting, did really, really well defensively as well. And that just shows you, like I said, Styles come on, he was hungry to get involved. Honeyman's coming off the bench. We've got a good bench. But Malone, especially last night, listen, he's been in the bum squad and he's been in the freezer for a good few weeks. They probably had to thaw him out before they let him run out on the pitch. But that's done him good, time out of the team. And he really, really did, show how well he can do. Maybe he was getting a little bit complacent. No one else at the club to threaten his position. But he looked brilliant last night and glad to have him back amongst it. Now Murray Wallace has got to do something special to get back in the team once he's fit. Callum Styles can play there. So, competition for places, a strong squad. Shout out to George Long as well. Loved him before he ever played because he played a couple of cup competitions against lower league teams a couple of years ago, last year. But he looked good with his feet. Didn't have a lot to do. Erin is a fantastic goalkeeper in training. And now, when he came into the side, he made a couple of little... I'm not sure about this guy. But now, like Bradshaw, like the Billy Mitchell, George Saville partnership, like the reunited Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchinson partnership, they're getting time to gel and understand each other and remember how they played together in the Hutch Cooper situation. And Long, in that instance as well, is just going from strength to strength. Not only is he a good goalkeeper, and he showed how much he wanted that clean sheet with that last minute save after Watford had originally hit the post, but he shows he can be a weapon as well going forward. I think the players are confident in him. And it's a shame with Bart, but look, we know we've got a double back-to-back player of the fucking year, sitting on the bench if something, unfortunately, touch wood, was to happen to Long. Hopefully it won't. But competition for places, Bart will keep pushing Long in training, and listen, Long may continue. I think we're up to 8th in the division, and everyone's eating their words, myself included. I did say at one point, I'm going to try and win it back now. So a few weeks ago, I did say, I don't think it's as bad as people think it is, and we need to give them a little bit more time. I think I went to an away game after that and we lost, and I got pissed off. I said, I've had enough now. But listen, Pete was right, Joe was right. The very few of you out there were right, because everyone wanted him out. Some people still do. No, in our luck now, we'll beat West Brom Saturday 5-0 when we go and join them. But look, Saturday is another day. There will be a preview out tomorrow for the West Brom game. I cannot do it today because it's already 2 o'clock. I've been making 10 pages of notes this morning, and I was up to edit until 2 a.m. this morning as well, then back at 8 a.m. Don't get the violins out. The biggest Lions Lounge in the history of the channel. It's just about to be recorded in about 2 hours' time. So I need to compose myself, stop sweating, get a cold drink, go over my notes, and then hopefully I will deliver that to you, the members, first off, of course, at some point over the weekend. But look, 3-0. Things don't get any better than that. Congratulations to the team. Congratulations to Gary Rowett. An unbelievable night at the Den. Long may it continue. On to Jed Wallace and West Brom on Saturday. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.